Before it booted up for the first time. I don't think any Street Fighter game has done that up until this point, which amazes me. Combos feel easier to execute. The new V-trigger and V-reversal system gives each character additional offensive and defensive options that's easy to see and understand. But at the same time, it also feels like there's enough layers that keep it on the same level as Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 4. So whether you're a veteran or new player, both have something to look forward to, and this game is just a colorful marvel. Environments are great, the models are constructed wonderfully, and the texturing and graphic flares really pop out, even if the fighters look like they're made of children's clay on the occasion. Ken, I love you, man, but your hair looks like the shit that comes out of a Play-Doh workshop. But I can always switch back to a more traditional looking Ken when I unlock the alternate costume. But this is the biggest point of contention with Street Fighter V currently: the amount of content immediately available. It's like Splatoon, a game that had a bare as fuck launch that throughout the coming months slowly became a game worth its retail price with free downloadable content and updates. Capcom is approaching Street Fighter V in a similar fashion, where more characters, more stages, and more content will be added that you can purchase from the in-game store with in-game currency you can accumulate by fighting in a shitload of online matches versus matches, or the very minimalistic story mode, which is not even really a story mode, it's more like a prologue mode, setting up the events for Street Fighter V's eventual story mode campaign coming out very soon. But because Capcom also really wants to milk us for all we're worth, they also have the option of a seasonal pass that can give you the new characters immediately when they're released in case you don't feel like playing the game and instead just want to jump in and play the game. I know some of you are thinking, John, you should have just waited a little longer to review this game. And look, full transparency here. I got a review code for this game on the PlayStation 4, and I'm grateful for that, but I'm still annoyed by how little this game offered content-wise back in February, and it's only gotten slightly better since then. They're playing the long game with this one. In terms of content, I know eventually Street Fighter V will become worth its $60 price tag. It's good that you can unlock the content without having to pay a single additional penny, but say as a fan of Street Fighter, you're jumping from Street Fighter 4 to Street Fighter 5, it's like moving from a penthouse to a small condo that's still under construction. As a Ken player, and as someone who's glad to see Rainbow Miko return, I'm happy I can spend the time to flex my skills with a couple of characters I love, but where's Sakura? Where's my other favorite characters? Well, I know they're coming, but because Capcom has told me so, but they're not here yet, and as a veteran, I'm bummed. I gotta wait, but I'll stress again, if you haven't played a Street Fighter game yet and are looking for a good starting point, go get Ultra Street Fighter 4. It's very likely you still got your PS3 or Xbox 360 on standby, so give it some love, because Street Fighter 5 is only available on the PlayStation 4 and Steam, and it's $60. And given how recent Street Fighter 5 is at the time of this video, I know this outlook is doomed to be outdated very, very soon. For instance, Ibuki's right around the corner, and the game is getting that story mode campaign, which is great for people that care about that sort of thing. I don't, which is why I'm not losing sleep by not covering it. Street Fighter has always been about you, the guy in front of you, and seeing, meaning you gotta haul ass, you gotta kill enemies to restore her health, and you gotta dash like mad to the end of the stage. I like Rei as a playable character and what she can do physically, but playing through some of these stages with her handicap can be a fucking nightmare. It's there if you really want to try and get some more content for your money spent, because let me tell you, online mode sure as fuck ain't gonna give you your money's worth. I mean, holy fuck, guys. Online in this game is a total train wreck. Even with both players having optimal internet speeds or decent PC setups, there was tons of latency issues. The game would crash at specific junctures. Frames were dropping like crazy for both characters. I mean, look at this. Beck is moving at 60 frames per second and Call is moving at around 12. Collision detection goes right out the fucking window with certain obstacles. Indeed, climb that ladder, Beck. The one by your side is merely an illusion. Plus, it just feels broken. Like, when two players do a race, there's no real finish line. Every time we got to the end, the boss door never opened, and both of us were stuck waiting for the timer to hit 0. Like, what's going on here? And after that, we just awkwardly cut to the boss fight. They delayed the game for this, by the way, and it's still broken. Unfortunately, Mighty Number 9 will most definitely be remembered as the new definition of mismanaged, because, yes, while the game is perfectly playable, it's a Mega Man game that Mega Man fans can get some enjoyment from, and to some that's all that matters, and more power to you. I just think the process of getting to this point wasn't worth it. Through the constant delays, the mediocre production values, the shoddy programming for console ports, the outright broken online system, all this for a game that has as much value and limited appeal as Mega Man 4 or 5, which were okay games, but that's all they were. Okay. Is it worth $20 digitally or $30 physically? No, I don't think so. And I don't know when this game will be getting a price drop anytime soon, but even if that were to happen, I could only recommend this game to Mega Man fans, even further, Mega Man veterans, because they could probably get the most out of it with what little Mighty Number 9 has to offer already. My apologies if some of you were expecting me to get a little more enraged, but I'm not angry. I'm disappointed, and we all know from experience that's a hell of a lot worse. I am speaking as a backer of this project. I am Mighty Number 3254. I am not Mighty, and I recommend you spend your time and money on something else. So there you have it. Mighty Number 9, the game 3 years in the making, $4 million to produce, and it's merely okay. Well, the Star Fox Marathon is just about good to go, but bear with me. There's one more game I want to look at before I launch myself into the Lilat system. And maybe you've heard of a game called Overwatch buzzing around from time to time, and I don't know why, but I've had the hots for this game for like a couple of weeks now, and I want to give it a shot. Maybe I could recommend it to you guys. With that said, that's the next game I'm looking at, so I will see you all then and there. With all that said, thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care. I like to look at it as the next Splatoon, which saddens me now that I think about it now that the final Splatfest is wrapped up. Go Team Mary! Anyway, Splatoon was a breath of fresh air in a market that was exploding with all types of shooting games, and it was something people of all ages could get down with. I also make the Splatoon comparison because, like that game, Overwatch is going to get free updates with new gear and characters as post-development continues, and that's always a shaky proposition, because if the game from the get-go isn't a winner, then it feels like you're selling people an incomplete game, even more so if it's full-priced. Well, Overwatch isn't a full-price game for starters, unless you want the Origins Edition or the Collector's Edition. Overwatch is sold for $40 at base, and with what's available now, I think that's a good price. Overwatch is a little more traditional and edgier, I guess I could put, than something like Splatoon, but its bright and colorful graphics, wonderfully diverse cast of characters, and whimsical writing can be enjoyed by more than whatever derogatory term people use nowadays for stereotypical FPS players. It's on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. I got it on the PC because, believe it or not, I actually prefer FPSs on a computer. I think there's no better control for one than with a keyboard and mouse. And I know that may sound shocking to some of you guys with how much I've said about how I'm against PC controls for other types of games in the past, but I've been playing FPS games on the computer since the original Counter-Strike was a thing, and that takes me back. And I'd like to take this time to thank the people who joined me in some multiplayer shenanigans specifically for this review. My fellow associates from the Brain Scratch Free Company. I don't think it's a big secret that I played the hell out of Final Fantasy XIV, and since my video on it last October, with the help of a good friend of mine, we made a free company. I made a lot of new friends since then, and they gladly helped me get into the Overwatch scene. So guys, thanks a lot for your help. Through all the basketballs we shot down, the amount of times we slapped each other in the face, and the people we confused, you made a solid FPS game even better for me. And hey, if you got Final Fantasy XIV, you should check out the Brain Scratch Free Company on the Diablo server. I'm on there constantly. I should probably seek some medical attention. So if you're not playing an FPS at the moment, I recommend you give Overwatch a try and get some friends to join along with you. And it's not because the Overwatch online community sucks or anything. I'll actually compliment it, because when I got into matches with randoms, I didn't really encounter any assholes or racist shitheads. That could have been luck, certainly, but maybe people just want to have fun with this one. The time will tell. But I've kept you Star Fox fans waiting long enough. The next video won't be a review podcast, a podcast in general, or a reaction video to anything. Unless it's a new Metroid game, then no promises on that one. But the next video will be the beginning of the Star Fox Marathon. So I'm going to check my G diffuser one last time. And then next up, we're heading into the Lilat system. With all that said, thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care. That missions in Star Fox 2 are very bite-sized. Even raiding enemy bases using your R-Wing and Walker can be completed in under 3 to 5 minutes, and boss fights rarely go over 30 seconds. But I suppose the biggest reason why missions are short and simple, even in the hardest setting, is the one thing I failed to mention up until this point. Star Fox 2 was never actually released, or finished for that matter. Yeah, it was cancelled at the last possible minute in favor of focusing the company's priorities on the upcoming Nintendo 64. What I've been playing is one of the few prototype ROMs that's been swimming on the internet for some time now, fully translated and given the reproduction treatment. I have 2 of them actually. One I bought this past 2 mini games, and one a fan donated to me just 10 minutes after I bought this one for myself.
Fuck my life.
According to an interview with Dylan Cuthbert, one of the programmers of Argonaut Software who helped develop the game, a ROM of a completed version of Star Fox 2 does exist. He experienced it during the development of Star Fox Command on the DS, but it can't be released for legal reasons, obviously, meaning that what's available on the internet now are all alphas and betas, without all the full features or proper difficulty balances. Not to say that Star Fox 2 as of now isn't good, because though it's a little on the easy side, it's fascinating to see how some concepts many would think came from Star Fox 64 in fact stem from Star Fox 2. The enhanced R-Wing functions, all range mode, the Star Wolf team, better graphics, not as much slowdown. You don't have to worry about babysitting your teammates, so that's probably because that wasn't implemented yet. Besides that, I think it's an improvement in every sense of the word from Star Fox 1, and were it properly finished, I'd gladly say this was the better game. Except the soundtrack, I think Star Fox 1 is better in that department. But seeing as it's not finished, it didn't reach its full potential. It's more like a Star Fox 64 beta, meaning that, yeah, if you already got Star Fox 64, Star Fox 2 is going to feel a bit backwards in looks and functionality. But I admire what Star Fox 2 took from the original Star Fox and cleaned up. It's just, kind of impossible to play unless you track down the incomplete ROM, use an emulator, or get yourself a reproduction cartridge for your Super Nintendo, even if it's not what developers fully intended. Now, I recommend doing the latter for a more authentic experience. It was cool plugging this into my console and playing a piece of history. Wouldn't it be cool if Star Fox 2 got the last-minute touch-ups it needed to be a fully completed game and then somewhere along the line got the virtual console treatment? Look, we got Earthbound Beginnings like 25 years later. It can happen, right? Alright, it probably wouldn't happen. Seriously, doubt Nintendo would even consider it given what's coming next. They probably would think it's redundant. And that said, next time we meet up in the Star Fox Marathon, folks, I'm looking at a beloved N64 classic, Star Fox 64, and I'm eager to see what Nintendo took from Star Fox 2 and incorporated it into something that's probably an even better game. It's a safe bet it is, but can I still recommend it to gamers of today? We'll find out. With all that said, thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care. Really get on 1997 in this bitch.
The Rumble Pack lets you feel different degrees of vibration. What's even cooler is when you crash your vehicle, that's when you really feel the vibration. This is incredible!
But it is also available on the Virtual Console for you Nintendo Wii and Wii U owners, but if there's one version I recommend above all others, it's the 2011 remake on the Nintendo 3DS, Star Fox 64 3D. Unfortunately, unless you don't mind downloading this digitally into your 3DS memory for $40 from the eShop, physical copies can run you a higher price because this version is out of print. I got lucky with this one, found it at a GameStop for $30, so maybe you might have the same luck, but get it when you can if you're interested, because I do think this is the best version of the game. I mean, yeah, the updated graphics are a plus, and this remake looks and sounds fantastic, but maybe my mind and fingers are playing tricks on me, but I feel this version controls better. Like, moving with the circle pad feels silky smooth when controlling the R-Wing, Landmaster, and the Blue Marine. You can also use the built-in gyro controls exclusively for the 3DS version, but gotta tell you, not a big fan of gyro controls for this sort of game. A first-person shooter, yeah, I can make that work. But you're not just controlling your aiming reticle, you're also controlling your entire ship, and I just don't trust the gyroscope to be as accurate as an analog stick in that regard. But you have both options available to you, so that's always a plus, and I should stress, I don't think the original Star Fox 64 controls badly. I think it's just fine, but there's a difference between 2011 analog and 1997 analog, and I'll take whatever's better. If you find yourself in a hurry and can't complete a route in under an hour, you can save your progress in the 3DS version. You had to do everything in one sitting in the N64 original, but again, because of how short the campaign was, no matter what route you took, I never really found that a problem, but a save feature is a great way to discover those alternate routes without having to reset your whole adventure. So save scum that bitch. Whether on a console or handheld, I don't think you could really go wrong with Star Fox 64. It doesn't have much in story, and, it just has a setup and that's it, go have fun, and that's all it cares about. And it's damn good, I find. If you yearn for some good old-fashioned arcade-ass space shooting, Star Fox 64 can help fill that void. On the off chance you haven't already played this nearly 20-year-old game. There's a chance you couldn't, just look at me, fuck. But the fact that I think it's still a good game even today speaks for its quality, and if you can, get the 3D version if possible. And try not to spend more than $40. It's a great game, just not $80 to $100 worth. But what I want to know is, did Nintendo think they reached their peak with Star Fox at this point? Because we all know what's coming up next in this marathon. It's Star Fox Adventures for the Nintendo GameCube, and as some of you may know, this isn't your typical Star Fox adventure. But what do I have to look forward to exactly here? It's made by Rare. I think that's a good sign. In 2001, I think I can get away with that thought. But I won't know for sure until I try it, so with that said, I will see you guys next time with Star Fox Adventures on the GameCube. Thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care.